But first, what I'm going to say is, as usual, greetings to your listeners and to whoever might be observing. In the name of His Majesty Haile Selassie I, in the name of Final Empress Wazira Menin. Also in the name of all those who have fought, lived and died for the liberation of oppressed people. Rastafari ideology is base one, and His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie being the Messiah, being the God in flesh, and two, that Africa is the cradle of mankind and the cradle of civilization. No ancestral homeland.
Brandy.
Three, that and I try to live as much as possible with nature. That's one, but the movement started in and around the 1920s, but was where to say, supported by the coronation, or with the coronation of His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie, 1932nd of November, crowning King of Kings, Lord of Lords, and conquering Lion of the tribe of Judah, which symbolizes, the return of the Christ being as prophesied by Revelation, Daniel, and so on. One, the fact that as black people, enslaved by black people, we know we were miseducated, misinformed, misled. We were always given the impression that Africa and Africans are backward and primitive and have never contributed anything to world civilization. I, having researched world history and international politics for more than 40 years, realized that that was highly misleading, because Africa has given to the world everything that we could look upon today and call civilization, science and technology. All the mathematical formulas, the alpha. We have reasons to look to Africa for our redemption, not just because of the land, but because of the culture of the people. So being here in Jamaica and in the diaspora, it is our intention to go forward to the continent, because, like I say, it's our ancestral homeland. We know it will not be an easy task, but we came here approximately 500 years ago, we have built the Western world. So I don't think we would have a problem in rebuilding the continent or helping rebuilding the continent. You know. One other aspect of Rastafari is that we don't use alcohol and we don't consume flesh. We try to live as much as possible with nature, eating fruits and nuts and vegetables, you know. So, you know, basically that give an overview of, you know, what I stand for. But to substantiate the whole philosophy, if we look at Ethiopia, biblically and historically, we find that from a biblical point of view, Ethiopia is a part of the Garden of Eden. The Bible mentioned 4 rivers in Genesis 2. But also from a contemporary historical point of view, we realize that they said that civilization started or developed on the banks of the Nile. Nile started in Ethiopia, or started in Ethiopia and go right down through Khartoum, through the Sudan into Egypt. So even the civilization that we see established in Egypt, you know, even the pyramids and so on, the whole, university, the educational structure, all of that came out of Ethiopia, right? So we have that, but Ethiopia also is the only country in Africa that has never been conquered, neither by Islam nor by Europe. Ethiopia was invaded in scramble of Africa by Italy, 1896, which they lost at the Battle of Adowa, and again in 1935 that evolved into the Second World War. Ethiopia was able to maintain her independence, which laid the foundation for the decolonization of Africa and other third world countries, including Jamaica, you know. 1963, inspired by His Majesty Haile Selassie, the OAU, the Organization of African Unity, was established with the aim and objective of continuing the liberation of African people, both on and off the continent. So we also see Ethiopia as being the land where the Ark of the Covenant is. The only land where the lineage of David and Solomon is, and the history is there again 3,000 years ago. Queen of Sheba of Ethiopia went to Jerusalem, met King Solomon and get pregnant by King Solomon. Started the Davidic Solomonic line in Ethiopia. With the first, with the son of Solomon and Sheba being called Menelik the first, and then way down in the beginning of the 20th century, it's Menelik the second coming. Here again, you know, we see the significance of Ethiopia, where the Ark of the Covenant is, where the original Jews, the Falasha, are. You know, so we see a role, a big role where Ethiopia has played in Psalm 68. It said, "Princes shall come out of Egypt, Ethiopia shall stretch forth her hands unto God." You know, so I mean, we see Ethiopia being the cradle of mankind, the place where it is about, mankind. So, being what it is our aim, it is our objective that both from a biblical and a contemporary historical point of view. Yeah, we have to look at Ethiopia as our homeland, as the land that has led to our liberation. And again, we have to give thanks to His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie in 1937. While Ethiopia was being invaded, 500 hectares of land was given in Shashamani by His Imperial Majesty to African black people in the diaspora, which, like I said before, the movement started in the 20s. And the fact that His Majesty was crowned in 1930 gave support to the philosophy. The movement started with 4 individuals, namely people like Hibbert, Hines, and but the most outstanding one was Leonard Percival Howell, otherwise known as the Gang. But Yeah, Hibbert, Hines also. Movement started in Kingston, spread to St. Thomas, concentrated in our time in a Bacawal. And with the mashing down a Bacawal, Rastafarian spread go into other parishes, Well, I mean, it is there that we were heavily persecuted, to make mention of even the Coral Garden situation where 1963, because of an incident between some brethren and police, led to over 400 Rastafarians being thrown into jail, most of whom never get bail, eventually ended up in prison for something that they knew nothing about, But anyway, the movement persevered, and through reggae music now it has spread internationally. Youths, black youths, Chinese, irrespective of whatever race, are now getting to understand the movement. The aim and objective is that it's really one love, peace and love we are defending, but at the same time, we know as African people we have been enslaved, we have been colonized, our lands have been robbed, our resources have been robbed, so we look forward to the issue of reparation. So in other words then, we look to peace, but we don't see peace without justice. And like his Imperial Majesty say, until the philosophy that holds one race superior and another inferior, it's finally and permanently discredited and abandoned until there is no more first class and second class in the nation. Until the color of a man's skin has no more significance than the color of his eyes. Until bigotry and maliciousness and inhuman self-interest is replaced by goodwill and understanding. And the dream of true lasting peace, world citizenship and the rule of international morality will be but a fleeting illusion to be pursued but never attained. There will be war. So I go back to see what I've been saying, that until that day, the world will not know peace. And we Africans will fight, continue to fight, and we are confident of the victory of good over evil.
Like, what does one love mean to you?
Well, one love is really one love. I mean, peace and love amongst all people, irrespective of color, creed, or race. But like I said to you, I mean, it's hard to go and hug up your enemy and shake hands with your enemy and clap hands and sing when you know these people, their aim and objective is to continue to enslave and exploit, when it's not psychologically, it's economically,
Yeah.
So, but one love is really to live in peace and harmony with the world, All people coming together.
How do you feel about the youth of today?
Well, the youth of today, I mean, black youth in particular, give thanks to the level of education and internet exposure that, is a technological age, is an informative age where, we no longer need to, live in ignorance of who we are as a people. But the youth of today, they have a serious responsibility in ensuring that the struggle continues. Because it's like you're running a relay from generation to generation, and there was never a time when black people had never a fight for them liberty. Started on the continent, started it was there on the slave ship, here on the plantation. So our youth now have to make sure them educate themselves, become aware of who they are and the contribution to world civilization, and continue the struggle,
Yeah.
It is the cradle of mankind, it is the cradle of civilization. It has been exploited not just by Europeans but by Arabs. So it is for us now as a people to come together. Africa awaits its creators. And there is no question, it is the richest continent on earth. So what we need now is to go forward to Africa, with especially coming here from the West, with scientific and technological knowledge, that we can utilize the natural resources to our development and our well-being,
Yeah. All right. And the word love?
Love?
Yeah.
Well, love is, the feeling we one have towards individual or people. And you can express it in many, many ways, So once you love somebody, you're going to become concerned. If you love a people, you're going to be concerned about the people. So even like my people now, they are my people. So, you know what I mean? Because of the love that me have for them, I am concerned about the situation them find themselves in. I mean, I, as a youth coming up, being exposed, I have certain educational opportunity. I choose not to be a part of the system, you know what I mean? But to be a voice for my people out there. Because I have the ability, so I choose that part like a next Marcus Garvey or Sam Sharp or a Power Bowl, you know? Yeah, so, but it's out of love that you're going to be doing things and making sure that the interest of your people is protected, you know?
Yeah.
Well, the system is a vampire, you know. The system come down from slavery and colonialism, so the aim and objective of the system never change. It is always there to rob and rape and exploit, you know. It is the aim and objective, in my opinion, of the white world. I'm not saying every white individual, but of the white world to have world dominion and to be in a position where they can continue to exploit the races of the world. I mean, if you look throughout history, you've never seen any race of people doing what the white race has done. Gone all over the world, robbing, raping, murdering in the name of Jesus. You know, so, I mean, the system, like, you know, it's a vampire. It's not something that encourages, you know, it's not something that bent on humanity, not something that is bent on, you know, support for each other. It's something that is bent on competition and exploitation, you know. And we now have a duty for work to ensure that we get rid of this system. Because if we don't get rid of it, or if our generation don't do the necessary thing to get rid of it, you're going to find out that our grand and great grandchildren are going to come up and face the same system. And it's going to be much more difficult for them to confront it, because the situation is going to boil down. If you look at it now, high school youth, I mean, how much youth, thousands of youth come out of high school every year, right? Youths come out of university, we have the jobs, we have the opportunity. You know what I mean? So the system is getting worse and worse, and the situation is getting worse and worse every day. I mean, you look at the youth, then you see so much a ton scammer, you know what I mean? Because there's nothing for them to do. You understand? So there's no opportunity. A lot of the youth, them bright youth, have to believe in Jamaica going, whether it's Canada, England, US. Why? Because them can't survive. There's no opportunity down there. You know what I mean? So we have our duty and our responsibility to get rid of this system and make sure it is replaced by, you know, a type of governance that can work in the interest and benefit of the masses of the people, not just in the interest and benefit of a few, because that is how this system is bent, where the privileged few can exploit the underprivileged masses, you know? And that's what we want to change. Equality and justice is what we are defending.
Okay.
Well, marijuana is a plant, you know. Marijuana is a plant just like any other plant, but just like everything the Almighty created, everything for a purpose. You understand me? When you're thirsty, you prepare water, you drink it. I will drink some juice, right? You know, we come up and we see different plants and we use them. Breadfruit, neeseberry, ackee, and those things. So the same power as we create marijuana as a plant is the same power as we create man. So man, who is man to make law against what the Almighty create? You understand me? But it has, I mean, it is being proved now, the type of medical properties, right? But I and I as Rasta were saying this all along, that marijuana, ganja, herb in general is for the healing of the nation. And that, you know, we would never encourage flesh eating or alcohol drinking, and see the world that come to it now. We come through a red meat, do a sugar, do a salt, do a white flour, do. So everything that the Rasta man has been saying over these years now come to fulfill. To the point now that the very US that has led what them call the war against drugs, right? More than half of the states have legalized and decriminalized herb now, not just for medical purposes, but for recreational purposes. So, you know what I mean? What the Rasta man has been saying all over these years is now being fulfilled by science and technology. You know what I mean? But it's something that we now have to utilize as much as possible to help in the development of the economy of Jamaica, so that we can help get rid of IMF and World Bank that we have inside here, you know?
Yeah.
So we don't want to see it being controlled by foreigners or by big rich people who used to fight against it. But we want to see it staying in the hand of grassroots people who have gone to prison and gotten button lick feet, you know?
Yeah.
Science and technologists and the big business people want to come, let them come, but work with the grassroots people.
All right. If I know.
But me use it for different purposes. Me use it, for example, if me want. Herb is known, for example, before 1938 when the marijuana tax act was established in America. Ganja was used to treat more than 100 different illnesses. And it was until when pharmaceutical companies started coming on board, and the FDA and the Federal Bureau of Narcotics, which is known as the DEA now, the Drug Enforcement Agency. It wasn't until then time that, you know, serious fights started against marijuana. But like I said, it was used to treat more than 100 different illnesses. So even right now, we can juice it with other herbs, buckle it, put it up. We can eat it, we can smoke it, we can do almost anything. I'm going to encourage anybody who have eye problem to juice it and drink it or eat the young bud. Because I know it's going to help push out the mucus that were in them eyes, you know? And Dr. Manuel and Dr. Lockhart in the 1970s, 80s, they developed cannabidiol as an eye drop and asthmasil for asthma, you know? So the pharmaceutical aspect of the industry has been here in Jamaica. It is not just now, but it's just that it has never been taken advantage of. And now we are encouraging our scientists, our university scientists, our professors and so on, to engage themselves in, you know, manufacturing or utilizing a plant so that it can benefit we medicinally and economically, you know. For example, the locks, again, is an issue where enough people want to know why is it that we dreadlocks. Right? But biblically, again, it tells you Samson, Christ, John the Baptist, all of these people were Nazarite, meaning them had dreadlocks, you know. And if you read Numbers 6, it tells you when man or woman vow the vow as Nazarite, what I must do. But if we look naturally, if we never did have a Bible and we look naturally, we see so now here not growing our hand nigger. You know, here grow certain places that with a certain length, where eyelash grow and stop, where eyebrow grow and stop. You understand me? So if man locks, to me, if man here, did to grow and stop, see me like where eyebrow grow and stop. And see so the Almighty will grow and stop. But the fact that it grow along, it means to me, it needs to grow along. And look upon it now, when as man, as boy pick me with band, we don't have no beard. Just like the girl, you know, the fan look sitting but no big bobby. So as time goes on, we start develop beard. So again, to me, the Almighty do things in our own timing. You understand? You can see, I look at that now, when she reach 10 or 11, 12, 13, Bobby start grow. She never born with no big Bobby, what they call a big breast. You understand? So to me, the Almighty put everything upon we for a purpose.
Yeah.
You understand? So we now have the choice to deal with it how we want to deal with it. But it's for a man to understand that even if he's not dreadlocked, even if he don't keep long here, he to understand that if the Almighty did want him to have low hair, he would have go it and start it. But like, even in our them call it Bible history, and said, the Almighty said unto the children of Israel, speak unto them and say, when need a man or woman vow the vow to another right, should separate himself and become holy. Right? So we have with people, but we have, like what I'm going to say, angels. But then, I mean, growing up, them paint angels as some little white baby with wing. Right? And then paint Christ white. And then paint the devil black. That's the next form of miseducation. Because there's nothing in the Bible to substantiate them things. You understand me? But we know as Rastafari, we see ourselves as some guardian angels where we are here to keep our help spearhead the struggle, to keep the whole knowledge of our people alive, you know, that them can come and learn. But going back to the issue, let me just talk about Christ and this white business. Because them paint Christ picture white, them paint the angels white, and them paint the devil black. Now we can ask, what impression is that leaving in the minds of black people about themselves? If you paint, if everything good, you paint it white, right? And the devil now, you paint it black. And if you go out the road you know, and one pick me body, you hear them say, I black sheep, I family that. If I one bad spot, then say I black spot. Current gone, then say I black out. So the term black has been stigmatized. You understand me? So we again now, we have a duty to remind our youth, our people, hey, if you are black, you know, you ought to be proud. That's why James Brown, when come years ago, come sing a song, say, I'm black and I'm proud. Because the impression where black people and the world was having of black people is that we were primitive and backward. You understand me? And there are so many books out there now being written, both by white people and by black people, to prove otherwise. Like a book called What They Never Told You in History Class by Indus Comic Kush. You know, you have a next one named Enoch the Ethiopian by Comic Kush again. You have Stolen Legacy by George G. James, Destruction of Black Civilization, Chancellor Williams. You know, you have Ben Buchanan, Black Man and the Nile, We the Black Jews, Africa the Mother of Western Civilization. So you have a lot of books out there where a counteract. You have Cheek Anti Diop, Africa and the Origin of Civilization. You know what I mean? You have John Jackson, you have Ethiopia and the Origin of Civilization. You have our own people, a brother named J.A. Rogers, Sex and Race, Great Men of Colors. You know, volume 1 and 2. Volume 1, 2 and 3 you have from Superman to Man, showing you how black people, where black people was, you know, hundreds of years ago and where we reach now, you know. So we need to definitely research, seriously research for history and see how great a people we were. And if we were a greater people, we have to ask ourselves what happened along the way over the past 3,000, 2,000 years while we find ourselves in this level of poverty and barbarism, where our intention is to kill one another. But people become so ashamed of themselves that if you look on the youth now and the girls then now appear bleaching. You understand? Because black people tend to be losing pride in themselves simply because of what is being taught to them in the church and in the school. You know what I mean? Like you ask a question, the youth them, it is the responsibility of black youth to ensure that, you know, our history is upheld and the glory of what Africa was is re-established. Alright. But them can't keep. So here comes a time when it just rise up again and then. And I mean, the system has done everything, you know, to keep us ignorant of ourselves. Keep us ashamed of ourselves because we don't know who we are. Which building but there are books out there. A lot of books if you read the one more. Right? Especially, this is a book named Stolen Legacy. Brought to Egypt, and then from Egypt, brought to Greece, and then from Greece to Rome, and then into the other European country. Because we were enslaved and colonized by British, we were educated from a British European point of view.
Yes, we saw it.
Right? And their intention was the change having gone from the hands of the minds of the oppressed. And there's a next teaching in the pyramid. You have to teach a man how to think, and you don't have to be concerned about his action. Why? Huh?
You know, think.
Him can't do more than where you teach him. You understand me? So that's the whole day. And the next thing will happen now, you see, over the years, people offer grassroots people scholarship. You know what them do? Them take with the leadership from the grassroots people. And look more because you weren't bright academically, them have you in the top half of your scholarship still, you know what? You become part of them. So you forget who you are, where you come from, your duty and your responsibility. You understand me? So the educational system designed to make you, to separate you from your people and to make you feel ashamed. And then you have to be employed by them because them don't train you to be entrepreneurs. And you have to develop that skill on your own. Them train you to come out, come look at a job, yes or no? Who are you going to look at this job from?
Yeah.
Right? And if you open your mouth too loud about any form of injustice, one thing.
Get fired.
Right. Some people like me now for 40 years, I don't work for nobody. And even when me the palm vibes, so I can tell you, I don't work for them. I get a free space and I utilize it to educate the people. And any day you never want me, fine. But as long as I am there, you're not going to muzzle me. And you're not going to plan my program. Me plan my program and execute it myself. You don't like what I say? You tell me, say, boy, I have you, and you can't keep up on this no more. You understand? But nobody could have ever called me and constructively or effectively counter what I say. And I point them to the internet all the time. That means if me I say stupid, go on to the internet. You understand me? And if what your internet I say is contrary to what you call me and tell me I'm an idiot and I'm a fool, but if not, what you gotta do? You understand me? So it's not just about academic qualifications, it's about your duty and your sense, you know, of duty and responsibility to your people. You understand me? Like my writing and my write music, like it's been so long since we've been in this land. Slaving on the plantation. Now we are called for reparation, them are going like what we are surrounded. Right? We don't get no, now we are called for compensation, them are going like what we are surrounded. We don't get no form of reparation from these Europeans. And after more than 400 years, we're still in a Babylon. Right? So, and the chorus say, you know, when I go home, anyway, our next part of it said, them say the chain move from my hands and feet, but life don't not sweet. And claim that we get emancipation, but it's still in a separation. Right? We don't have no, we don't own no wealth, we don't have no power. Still I live like Papa. So we are called from these so-called leaders to pay the Africa. The other part into the system called some of us squatters, too we don't have no land. All them are claim we're independent when the land in slave masters' hand. The people are still common laborer, far beast, down pressure. While them are build skyscraper, people can't find shelter. That's true. Right? So the other part said, so we are tell them a down pressure them to listen and learn. Because the blood are go run, the fire go burn, one day the people must serve. Things don't be like this every day. One day the wicked must be. For everything that our people have been shown,
So what's the plan?
For the keeping ourselves in terms of make sure that we utilize the creativity and utilize the resources that we have. For example, time where enough of we have a look to buy things that come from foreign. Because the father can tell the first time if you want a chosen, what will you tell him?
Taylor.
We buy cloth and go to tailor. If you want one bed, we either go buy the wood or go pay the woodwork man. And then build one bed and do it.
No.
You understand? Now if you want a pants, everything will come from foreign. You understand? So we have to turn back around, you know, rather than buying 1 billion US dollars worth of food from foreign, we should have produced and export.
So we have the land.
Yeah, we have the land, we have the water, we have the hands them. You understand me? So even agriculture is something that, from an educational point of view, attention should be focused on that.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah, Westmoreland Building Society owned by who? The Clark. I see him breed a Clark now, we own the Green Island. Oliver Clark family. You understand? So Westmoreland has been a slave belt from when Manning is the second oldest educational institution on the island. Did you know that? Yeah. Only. Next only to Woolman. Manning was established in 1838. Right? The trust was founded in 1710. So in other words, if Manning was established at the time when the trust was founded, Manning would have been already 300 years old. Now look at the history of Jamaica from a colonial point of view. Right? And an institution, the second oldest institution, there Westmoreland. So if you look and see what role Westmoreland has played, we can all make a difference as simple as you might take it. Garvey was one person. Right? Weird. In a book,
Right.
it was used to treat more than 100 different
Complete, right.
all human menstrual problems. Right? New cut.
So I'm not something to be afraid of.
No, man.
Now I'm going to kill you.
I can tell you so. The pan chicken. You don't know.
1 year to 5.
You know, believe say,
Something wrong.
whoever eat that, I go big something. Eh? And plus to the common folk, we never have to put all manner of things sitting on them. I see this man, me hearing people in my market talk about certain food then. Every household legal. Legally you can plant. Yeah. So the barrier has been broken down by it. And like first time a man catch you with one leaf of this, they would put down a prison for 18 months. You know what I mean? Yeah, we used to go up, people used to go up. Look here, you see, first time if you have 2 convictions and police come and say one of that,
Yeah.
you get 7 years in
that
prison.
prison, you know that.
Yeah, smell good. Come look. Come squeeze up. Squeeze it up and smell it. Squeeze and squeeze it. And smell it. Can make perfume, not it?
Yeah, when I smell it all day.
Huh?
Good old weed, man.
Tell her, can just smell, the smell. Squeeze and smell.
We man broke off so much I cheap for Reggie.
The weekend. You know? Plant, right? Yeah, man. That's why then. Alright, you see like the coca plant, the mushroom, all of these have what they call psychoactive ingredients. So when you drink it or smoke it, but there's a thing inside of it what they call the THC. Right, the tetrahydrocannabinol, which is a psychoactive ingredient in it. So, but it only activates by heat. So if you were to eat the whole of this, you wouldn't feel anything. But if you were to cook it and eat it, you'll feel it because the heat will activate the THC. But then now there's a next thing what they call the CBD, even though THC is still CBD. But there's a next thing what they call the CBD, so it's a CBD oil. That I find them mostly used now for medical purposes. Because it has less THC percentage. And so a herb like this might have about 10, 12, 15% THC. Most of the herb now when they use for medicinal purpose have 2, 3 and less percent THC.
Perfect, we want to keep.
Yeah, man. But being over there, you have to take care of yourself.
Do you know how to like clean?
Clean?
Yeah.
A lot.
Huh?
A lot, think about it. You can just cut it up in the water and just drink it. Or you blend it in the skin in orange juice that take away the bitterness and you drink it. So it cleanses, the best colon cleanser.
So how long that takes to clean it?
Well, it all depends on how, what you say, stuffed up you are and how, well, you say, constituted the person. You have other things, you know, but it's if a gradual cleansing, others is one of this. Right? There are some things where you can drink and it flush you out, but tomorrow morning it makes you sound don't give no heap of big flush, but it does flush you, especially if you're not used to it.
We used to like peel it and wash off and eat the white part. Where you know bitter. You don't say the slime part.
The slime part.
Right.
But if you want to get the real part of the colon, you know about the colon, right? The science. But the best called colon cleanser. We have enough things, you know. We have enough things that we use, you know. Our Spanish needle and then something that we juice it, you know.
Really?
To burn up the calories then.
Yes. Just like keep a soda and drink
no,
a soda.
Eh?
Just like you soda them.
Yeah. Hey, look at commercial product them there, you know. Me sure no say. I'm not say you won't go to a restaurant and get nice food to eat. But if you were to cook that food yourself, you'd have cook it with a vibe, you are going to eat now. So you think about everything what you put in that food to make it nice. That's right, though. But when you go out to a restaurant,
you just bitch up everything here.
You're hungry, so you eat. You understand me? But we have to develop a different approach to life, you know. Because you cannot expect anybody to come do for you what we should be and could be doing for ourselves. Right? So don't look to the white man for free. We have to free ourselves. Right? The white man will never, ever. As a matter of fact, to him thinking is the other way around. What can he do to keep us in constant enslavement? If you check the history of the white man now, white people are backward and primitive now. You ever hear about the Caucasus Mountain? What do you think they call them Caucasians? No, serious. They were in the hill, they were in the Caucasus Mountain, right? And they were living with animals, bestiality, and all of them things there. And that's why if you hear about werewolves, but some of them, when it comes to the moon, used to impact on them. And certain times, them just hear you up. I don't know, like story, you know, or real something. Yeah, them living in the Caucasus Mountain and them just cold. No difference between the Dundus. Right? Right. You're not check terror the country, but you know.
No, they want him look up closer to you. Video.
Yeah man, but you have to, you know, and find out what it is we have. Because me work with the CLA board, the Cannabis Licensing Authority board. And for his responsibility is to regulate the ganja industry. You understand? So you have the Bureau of Standard, you have Scientific Research Council, you have UTEC, UA, and MCU, and then Caribbean University. But we get all of them to be involved and we get overseas people, you know? So but now make you have the email where you can pass it on because it's important that we develop that industry to make sure so the people benefit. We have a competitive edge and not people don't know because how we can grow it naturally. America can grow it that way there. They have to grow it under light in a house. We can grow it 24/7 right round. You understand? So we have a edge, a competitive edge. But what America don't want is to know that we have an economically competitive edge. So them will always try to outlie it, but how hypocritical it is to know that me I tell you, you don't have to grow herb, you know. But when you come to my yard, a pure herb you see I grow there. You understand me? So you might the UN now, a whole country did a lick out against America. Because of them I lead the international drug war and yet you tell people don't grow it, but yet look how much state. Right? Me go to Colorado last year and nothing tell you. When you see how the road and spread out you with it, you can't see some money around. Right? And money. Me, alright, other day somebody text me. You know how much California make last year? 1.1 billion US dollar out of here. Them estimate the international ganja industry to be 500 billion US dollar. So if we can tap into one little portion of that, we are right. We don't want the whole life. We not even want half. We not even want quarter. We just want a little portion.
Yeah.
Right?